What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Today we're going to talk a little bit about why, being just yourself might not always be what it takes in order to, um, really fit into society, maybe is a good way to put it. And at least all the social settings that I've been in, just being you is uh, is not all you need in order to really thrive in a group and fit in. So I guess what I kind of learned from that was, when I was younger, I had issues a little bit with, sometimes fitting into groups. Most of the time I was all right, but it was always when I was going into a new group, I kind of always noticed I had to wait a little bit to be introduced or to find like an opening to fit into a group. And I still have that issue a little bit today, but a lot less because I'm usually around people who like it's usually somebody's joining my friend group now, or the people I'm meeting are just as like socially aware or outgoing, so it's easier to um, get rid of that pressure. So I guess what I did for me, I left high school, uh, and when I got into college, you know, I found a lot of value in just going to the gym, and I guess since the gym, it's all people my age, um, I had a very easy time meeting a bunch of new people, and I didn't really have to worry a lot about saying the wrong thing because in the gym, not a lot of people like to even really socialize. But when you do meet people you socialize, a lot of them are often so kind and just very um like forward people. They love to talk. Everybody that's what the human nature is, like we're social animals. We're social creatures. We naturally want to be around each other. And I kind of don't understand why some people are super antisocial like that. It doesn't make much sense to me because like why would you not want to be around like your people, the same people like you, and connect and just learn deeper about the people around you. I think that's kind of an intriguing thing that I'll never really understand, but I don't know. For me, it was the gym was kind of like the first breakaway, and I was a skinny kid. I wasn't like jacked or anything going to the gym. So going into that was like it was very intimidating, but I set a goal and I promised myself that I would have to go at least every single day I could of freshman year. And it worked out pretty well. I think that was like what is that called? I think it was like exposure therapy for, breaking out of my shell. And cuz I was worried when I was going to college. I was worried I wasn't going to make many friends, and thankfully I did. Um I think it was just the fact that there were so many people. It was a little bit daunting to kind of be like, wow, I have to talk to people like at this much of a scale. Um, but no, I had a very easy time doing it. It didn't take that much work, and I think it allowed me to break out of my shell and really like blossom. But more importantly, is how you talk. That's super important. It's how you talk and how you present yourself. Like this is true. First impressions are absolutely everything. No matter where you go, the first impression you make on the people around you, it it gives you like such a higher chance of like fitting in with that group that it should not be taken for granted. Like wherever you go, especially if you live in like a highly populated area, like an urban area, or a lot of new people, things like that. Um, you really should just be worried about not so much like what people think about you, but more what do you want people to think about you? You know? I think if you put it into that type of perspective, you will see like such a great return on you just putting more time into how you look, and then also how you speak and present yourself. Because you could have somebody who looks good, but just talks not like just talks very odd and doesn't actually add anything of value to the conversation. People like that are like, yeah, sure, they're a good looking person, but if they're not adding anything useful to a conversation, even humor can be value. But if they're not even adding that and they're trying to be like all mysterious and stuff, it's not gonna help them if they're new to the environment as much. Because I there was a guy when I went to school, when I was in school this past semester, who like he dressed fine and all that, but he looked fine too, but he didn't put any emphasis on being outgoing and was very just, I don't know, he tried to be very mysterious and nonchalant for no reason. Like nobody was testing him or anything. There was no reason to act like that. But I guess he just chose to. I don't know. So yeah, like I guess he was trying to be himself, or maybe he was being somebody he wasn't. I'm not sure. But the other part is like beyond the impression and the outgoing presentation you give of yourself. What happens when you make it into that group? Like, oh yeah, we like Noah, and then it's like month 2. You hang out with them a lot, but what do you do? You know. So I think that's where this is like a preparation thing. So I think that's where the next part comes in. Think of the things you do about like your hobbies, your skills, the things you're interested in, all of that stuff. Think of that as like tools that surround you that work to, build up the character that is you. Whoever you are, think of the things around you. Whether it's, I don't know, whether you do like whether you have a business, if you're into fashion, you need to try to have like a few things about you that really set you apart in such a way that is not not looking performative or fake, but that make you, just noticeable to people. Because then you'll be seen as the guy who has his own fashion brand or runs like a fashion page on like Instagram and YouTube, and that's pretty unique. Not a lot of people have the guts to go and put themselves out there like that. So that will get you noticed a lot more than just trying to be a guy who wears really nice outfits but doesn't actually do anything. What I think is super important is when you get into the process of doing it, when like once you start, doing it more and more and it becomes a part of your routine, you shouldn't you don't want to like boast about it, because then people think you're doing it for like dumb reasons. The purpose in which you do whatever it is that sets you apart in your social groups, it should be done with the sole drive of bettering yourself, doing it because you like it or doing it because you saw a problem. Like business, it's monetary gain, but you're doing it because you saw that there's an issue and you know what to do in order to fill that gap. You're doing it because you have the skill to do it. And then for people who do like social media, if you want to do that fashion page, you're not doing it to boast. Like you shouldn't want to do it to be like, oh, look at all this stuff I have. You should be able to do it because you just genuinely enjoy the clothing you have and want to catalog it somehow digitally so you can look back on it. So like those purposes are why you should be having that. And then I always think everybody should like try to work out moderately. You don't even have to go hard, just do something, because your health is so important, man. Just take care of yourself a little bit. It'll make you feel so much better, and it just gives you clarity, man. It gives you so much clarity. I recommend anybody does that, man. But yeah, I think when you go around the right people, and this helps you with girls too, dude. Say like you and that friend group, you're guys, and then one of the guys has a connection to a girl and her like his girlfriend and her group of friends, and her group of friends are most of them are single, some are not. You know, that's where you that preparation. That's what I meant by preparation. That's where you put that preparation to good use in the social group that you're in and the girls that you meet that you might want to date your romantic interests. You know what I'm saying? So it's things like that that really help you kind of stand out in a way that will aid you and kind of speak before you ever have to speak. Because people will notice those things. People subconsciously are analyzing the people they meet in such a way that if they like just by looking at you, some people will automatically write you off, which in some cases I understand, but I think it's a little unfair. And then in other cases, people may be able to look past if you might not look the best, or maybe you didn't look your best that day, right? But some people will look past that and give you the benefit of the doubt, and they'll hear you through, especially if you're a friend of a friend. They will 1000% give you the second chance to kind of prove yourself. And I think it's in proving yourself where you kind of gain the respect of the people. Like, you should always try to be respected by being respectful. I think that's a good way to go about it, because people respect they respect discipline and honesty. That's like huge for a lot of people, and they'll respect it, especially if you're successful in like business or physical health, mental health. Sometimes anything where there's like a marketed struggle that people pay solutions to, things like that really get respected if you were able to do it alone, because not a lot of people have the grit to do that. So basically, you want to not just be yourself. Don't listen to that kind of advice. Just be yourself doesn't help. Like, if you could see all the true characteristics listed about you, I doubt that you would be like, wow, that's enough to be successful in XYZ endeavor, socially speaking. I don't think so. I know it wasn't for me. Like, yeah, I had a fair bit of friends, but I had like one core group of friends, and that was kind of it. Everybody was cool with me because I was good in school. So people knew me as the person who was pretty smart and never really got in people's way, because I was never dramatic. There was no drama for me to be in. You know what I mean? So that's why I was pretty cool with a lot of people. But outside of that, I didn't really get close with that many people because I don't know, I just didn't see a point. So you have to kind of audit yourself a little bit and be like, okay, let's look at myself and be like, what do I actually have at my core that would help me, socially speaking, to succeed? And if it's bad, if you can't really talk to people, you have to get better at that, because, dude, if you can talk to people clearly and in a way that makes them, feel remembered and heard, people will 100% remember you. The main takeaway from this video, it's going to be, don't listen to people who tell you to just be yourself. You should be working on yourself as like an art project, like a sculpture, fixing the minor details about yourself to make you better. You should always be striving to be better than you were yesterday, to be more knowledgeable, to be more healthy. Things like that will always be a benefit to you if it's possible. It's like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's like at the base level you have your basic needs to survive, and then at the top you'll have the self-actualization, and in the middle you find everything else. And you can see the self-actualization stage as somewhat of the like, okay, I'm working on myself, socially speaking, things like that. But it's also the things in the middle that make you more, not socially acceptable, but allow you to fit into that group that you're trying to enter. So try to apply that hierarchy to many of the things you do in life. I think that could help people a lot to just understand what they need to do in order to get to the state they want in life. But I think that's all I'm going to talk about today. I appreciate y'all. Again, if anybody wants to follow my Instagram, That's gonna be in the bio of my account. I don't know if I'll post it. I probably won't. And I appreciate everybody who watched this video. You guys are awesome. I appreciate any critiques, feedbacks, or motivation, anything. I'll take anything. It's all appreciated because then I know what I'm doing wrong or bad. But yeah, peace.